Hello there, Qckslvrslash, and today we have a game courtesy of Vasi in the Tier 8 Japanese destroyer, the Kagero. And yes, this is a ranked battle. It's the last one I'll be sharing with you from this season of ranked, and it's on mountain range. Now with the other destroyer being a Z-23, it makes sense that it goes to Charlie. The hydroacoustic surge gives it a big advantage in that cap. Vasi's advantage is detection. And honestly, just open water peds. Lots of open water peds. You can see he's got the Torpedo reload booster in place of smoke. So he can fill up a lot of this map with torpedoes. So heading over to B and getting a fire towards probably this top area of C if they choose to camp there, or if some of them are caught coming across, just building that wall of torpedoes could be useful. One of the other ways I've seen the Torpedo reload booster used is as kind of a quick reload, but not all at once. So most people will fire their racks, hit it, and fire two more to put way more torpedoes in one spot. But it can be almost more effective if you fire your racks, use it so that you've got them ready, and wait like 10 or 15 seconds so that ships go, oh, he must have used it before or not have it, and then throw them, because you can catch people off guard. Now, with Vasi being the only one going over to B, he obviously has to be careful. He can't push in and charge A, which is something I often did, because quite often I'd have 2 or 3 ships with me, so I'd just go through here and loop up into A, and quite often sneak into the back of the cap and force the one ship there out. Because so often this map winds up being just the two teams kind of sitting in the north and south parts of the map waiting for something to happen. Now, the Z-23 looks to be taking Charlie uncontested, which to me says, okay, they're probably pushing into A pretty hard. Well, they didn't beat Vasi there, but he used the speed boost, so reasonably that's their first destroyer getting there. I have no real clue where they are though, because I would expect their battleships to have been spotted, and well, there's their first one. And from here, what I would say is a good move is for the chunk of ships over here to push north, this North Carolina and Amagi to push over to B and basically post up and just try to pincer the enemy team into A. I mean, they're gonna start running ahead on points pretty quick here, and there's not a lot the enemy team's gonna be able to do once they fall too far behind, if they don't manage to kill something. Now, if they get some kills in early, that can put them pretty far behind, but we'll see how it goes. And, well, Vasi's getting in a pretty amazing spot here to dump a whole lot of torpedoes, because those ships are grouped way too tightly. And what you see now is like a destroyer's wet dream, because it almost doesn't matter where he fires his torpedoes. Ships can change their speed and course, but they're just going to change it to be where another was. So as long as you just put a nice long wall in, you're bound to hit someone. And this is one of those moments where having that TRB is massively useful. Now you can see he opts to go for the widespread and overlaps his torps a good chunk. Now I suspect he targeted a different ship there, but since it's torpedoes you don't see the target change, and he overlaps the next two and almost gets too close. He's within 2 kilometers of that Atago detection range at least, but look at this wall. And sure, might not get a ton of hits, but it's going to freeze up the entire enemy fleet, and that is a huge role of destroyers, is just steering enemy ships with their torpedoes. And that North Carolina eat a huge shot, and then 2 torps, he's pretty much dead. And there's one ship down. And to top it off, gets a torp and a flood into the Amagi. Now, his team has to focus fire. They've got to get rid of this NC. Vasi doing a good job just passively spotting. No need to use his guns. He's got lots of ships to do the shooting. There it goes. Friendly North Cal finishing the job. Now, 2 of the enemy destroyers have been spotted down in the south, and I really question their decision to both push down there, because they don't have any fire support from their friendlies. And that's, as 2 Japanese destroyers, a very risky place to be. Now, for whatever reason, this Alabama is basically driving against the continent, but the Qckslvrslash, it's looping back. You've got the North Carolina in here. The Z-23 is going down. They're going to be in a tight position. And, well, Torps are reloaded. Vossi lets them go, and it's time to get moving. Now is a moment you wish you had that TRB, because this Amagi is a sitting duck. And I hope Vossi's seen it. He looks like he has finally gotten that rudder over, but he is going to get spotted here, I suspect. And, well, not by the Amagi, but by the pair of Kageros. Well, there's the Amagi, and the Amagi could have done a lot more than that. Vossi gets 2 of the Torps into the Bama. Good enough for almost all of his health. He'll probably be dead quite soon. And things are going well. They've lost another cap, or they lost a cap, but the Amagi has just charged in a little recklessly, because he's going to lose his life here, and is preventing them from getting points from A. So the fact that they've got 2 isn't a huge thing, and oh my god, their Atago just absolutely ate it. The Amagi doing his job, but I think that's going to be him. So, Amagi's down. The Z-23 bit the dust as well. But this Alabama is on fire. He's going to be dead any second, and really this opens the door for Vossi to sneak into A and take it. Meanwhile, I don't know what that friendly Alabama is doing. He's now turned and is backing. You gotta question the motives of teammates sometimes. I suspect the Monarch has him spooked. And really, I think the Qckslvrslash could be doing more help shooting at that Monarch. But doesn't really matter too much. Vossi got another set of Torps there at the Amagi, and he slips in to take a cap point. This will be a second solo cap, and anyone who's played previous seasons and hates when destroyers manage to top the experience board, a big chunk of that is just getting solo caps, because ultimately taking the caps matters. And, you know, it does. Like right now, sure, he could be down there fighting, but that's sacrificing points to enemy team. By coming up here, securing the cap, he really gives them an advantage and forces the enemy team to have to engage in one way or another. But with A taken, it's time to start moving again, and he gets himself headed south, back to the cap he originally took and where those destroyers are waiting. And spotting those DDs at this point is going to be a big key. He hasn't taken any damage despite getting shot at, and I'm pretty sure both those Kageros have a little bit of damage. And with the Qckslvrslash in gun range, you can expect, if they get detected in the open, the Qckslvrslash is going to be able to take some advantage of it. Now I do like what he's doing here. He's going in kind of the back door to B. Now it's going to isolate him should he spot the Kagero in this immediate position, but it also puts him on a different side should they be in the area that they are. Because both these Kageros, they've got to pay attention to the North Carolina and the Qckslvrslash. They're not going to be able to flip their guns back and forth between Vossi and the Qckslvrslash. so they're going to have to pick a target. Now, personally, I would have just charged straight in there. I don't think angling out was as necessary. It's not the end of the world. He's going to get in the cap, and, well, the second he does, it's contested, so you know the Kageros are still somewhere in here. And now they're not. And just little bits of information like that tell you a surprising amount about what's going on. Unfortunately, in firing his torpedoes, he did dip out of the cap and lost that bit he was taking. A little unfortunate, but what can you do? Pops the TRB, because at this point, should he find the Kagero in close range, you know, you want to have those torps on the ready, because part of winning a DD fight is just being able to steer that enemy DD. Put the torp somewhere that forces them to turn in a way that they can't properly engage you. And, well, this could be trouble. Both enemy Kageros show up behind him. And this is somewhere that the Amagi can't really help, being at that kind of 10-kilometer range. It's going to be hard to hit. And, well, the Qckslvrslash way too far away. You see, Vasi fired his first set of torpedoes there, steering the Kagero in, and saved the second set from when he got close, and, well, no time to dodge those. Takes an enemy out, and because he never fired his guns, he's dark again. And free to take the cap. And one of the big mistakes I see destroyers make pretty much across the board, ranked battle, random battle, doesn't matter, is firing their guns in a situation where you don't necessarily need to, or where doing so once you kill the first ship means you're spotted by everyone else. So a good job by him holding his guns, keeping his detection down, and sure, the other Kagero is going to take A, but Vasi will secure B. And when he does, it just gives them that point edge. That Monarch in Alabama still fighting. Looks like the Qckslvrslash has gone back to assist, which for Vasi means time to go to the other cap and try to take it back. Now, meanwhile, the Amagi, it's kind of sailing off into nowhere. It does take the Qckslvrslash out, but had I been this Amagi, it really should have been angling up towards C to better support this Monarch, because now it's really too far out of position to support any of his teammates. There's the Kagero, and, well, this is gonna be a gunfight. And he's down on points, but so far, I think he's winning it. If he employs that same strategy, fire one set of torps early, get him steering, save the other a bit, I think this could go quite well. Unfortunately, that other Kagero appears to be doing the same. Can he slip through? He just manages to. Those engines crippled. But now it's too late for this guy. There can be only one. Today in the Kagero, that's Vasi. And, well, with the DD taken, it's time to go secure another cap. There may only be 3 on the map, but by the end of this game, he'll have secured 4, it looks like. And, well, you can see the Amagi's just, he's not involved. He's not spotted, which means he's not firing at the Alabama more than likely, because I would expect lines of sight to mean he was lit. And the Monarch's doing what he can do. He's in that cap, denying points, and still trying to engage the Alabama. And this is really just one of those situations. We're playing a cool-headed game, just continuing to take caps when they're open has really paid off for Vasi. Because by continuously slipping in behind and taking their caps, he kept forcing those destroyers to switch back and forth. And I'd say their big error was when they split, when one engaged and the other went for A. They had a numbers advantage. The pair of them should have pushed in on Vasi. He couldn't have torped them both at the same time, and they really could have gotten rid of him there. But by splitting up, they reduced their odds of successfully killing him. They didn't kill him, and as a result, they handed the game over. And it wasn't their entirety or their entire fault, but it's just one of those things. In ranked with 7-on-7, if you find a place where you have as a numbers advantage, you push that numbers advantage. You don't turn away or split up. You stick together and you just push it hard, because that's how you get the enemy team. You catch one ship off guard and you make it pay. And they kind of had Vasi off guard there, and they broke up. I'm not sure why they did that. And you can really see just how important it is to push numbers advantages when you have them. The supplies in all forms of battle, and ships, tanks, a lot of games. It's a general strategy of war too. And the enemy destroyers didn't do that when they had a 2-on-1 against Vasi, and as a result, in 2 individual 1-on-1s, he was able to come through, kept the caps, and won the game. 453,000 credits, 10,600 experience, guessing some flags, just shy of 96,000 damage, and a couple kills, some torps. Those 4 solo captures, that's what put him atop his team with quite a healthy lead over the next person on his team. But it's ranked, everyone got the star, and that's what matters. And when you look at where those 2 destroyers are on the enemy team, I'm honestly a little surprised they're as high as they are, but you know, they probably did a lot of effective work early, but they needed to push that advantage. And ultimately, once you lose your destroyers in a situation like this, if you don't have a radar cruiser, you're never going to really run down a single DD, short of just going to individual caps and forcing them to face off against one of you. End of the day, took home just shy of 300,000, those 10,000 experience and 2,100 free experience, and the star. Thank you very much, Vasi, for sending this one in. I enjoyed watching it. I hope you all did as well. If you did, please consider giving a thumbs up or subscribing to the channel. And as always, I'm Qckslvrslash, and I'll have another one for you all later.